It's Ebird Online here, and I'm here with the second part of Before the 90 Days, Season 3, Episode 7, Under Pressure. And in this part I'm going to cover the delights that are Angela and Michael, and Tom and Darcy. I'm getting perilously close now to 3,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for everyone that's subscribed. If you haven't yet, please do. It does make a difference. And please don't forget to like the video. So here goes Angela and Michael. So in this episode, Michael got pied. And I mean literally. Michael's fiance, has finally had enough of his lies. Last week he told her that he hadn't been on a boat since he was 8 years of age, and it was all just a test from Angela because she knew he'd been more recently with his friends, including girls. She threw her toys out of the pram and she stormed off from Michael. She told him it was finished. So what do we think the reasons are that Michael lied? I mean, obviously he knew that he'd been on a boat more recently than when he was a kid with his uncle. But I have got a feeling that he might have done it because he realised he went on a trip with his friends, and he knew that if he'd told Angela at the time when she was back in America that he'd been on this trip and that women were present, she would have flipped her lid. So it's probably his thought not to tell her and hope that she never found out. Michael, if you don't want people to find out things, make sure it doesn't appear on social media. So she tells us, I've had myself a black SUV, and she took herself back to the hotel. She asks, why does he lie all the time? She doesn't like him around women. Angela, 50%, in fact I think 52% of the world's population are women. However do you think you can keep Michael away from all of these women? Women are everywhere. Ebird's one. You're one. Just. And she tells us, that's it, I'm finished, I'll love him but from a distance. Angela, what's changed? But Michael will stop at nothing to get Angela back. First he buys her a Coke, and then he buys her a cake. Michael, you're really pulling out all the stops. He stalks her to her hotel. He tells us he can't leave, and he sees his plans of going to the US going up in smoke. Angela says she should not bring someone that's going to make her mad all the time into her home where her family is. He can go back to his mama. And she throws all his clothes out in the hallway of the hotel. She really was mad because she didn't even bother to put them into his suitcase. They were just all strewn over the floor. The following day, Angela tells us she's not going to sit in this hotel room all day like she did yesterday. She's going to hit the streets. She's going to get her hair done about 10 metres away. Poor Michael, well, he slept the night in his car. So we see him get out of the car and wash himself from a water bottle and put his fresh clothes on top of his sweat. Lovely. Angela goes to the hairdresser's and he grabs her just before she goes in, and he gives a real hangdog look. Angela gives him the slip and runs off to the hairdresser's. While she's in the hairdresser's, she spends her whole time moaning about Michael. And in her chit chat with the hairdresser tells her that her husband has never told a lie. Michael tries to talk to Angela in the hairdresser's, but security manages to bundle him out. And on the VT, Angela asks, how do I know he's not just marrying me for the visa? Really? I simply can't. I just can't. Then, in a comedy moment provided for us by the producers, Michael turns up with a cake. Angela tells him, don't just try to swindle me because I like cake. It ain't happening. And outside takes place more terrible acting. Angela slams the pie in Michael's face, and she goes back to the hotel. Michael tells us he's really starting to think that things are done here, and getting to the US isn't going to happen. What about your love for Angela, Michael? What about that? And that was everything for this episode. I predict next episode Michael and Angela will be back together. I also predict that Angela doesn't have enough ready funds to support Michael when he gets over, and so when she tries to apply for the K1 visa, I believe it will be a failed application, and I think that Michael will never ever step foot on American soil via Angela. But that's just my prediction. The next couple we're going to cover are Tom and Darcy. In the words that many an Englishman would hate to utter, Tom says, we're going to Albania, and he could not keep the distaste from his sneer. He later tells us he's peeved to have to go. We catch up with Tom and Darcy, and they're just leaving for Albania from the London Airbnb. Darcy's struggling down the stairs with a massive case, and Tom's pretending he's hurt his leg lovemaking when really he twisted his ankle because he's so inept at playing cricket. Darcy tells us, I might be little, but I'm strong. Not mentally, Darcy. Not mentally. On the way to the airport, Tom tells us that going to Albania is a real finger in the eye, and that everyone considers it still a communist country. Everyone, that is, except for historians, politicians and anybody that completed a primary school education. I don't know why Tom's being like this, and I find him quite rude because he's agreed to go to Albania. Once you agree to something, you make the best of it. I think it doesn't matter where you're going in the world. I think it's absolutely classless and quite despicable to start disparaging it when you've never even been. For all he knows, it might be amazing. He might have the best time ever, but with this attitude, the trip's doomed to fail. So we discovered that Stacey, Darcy's twin sister, has a fiance called Florine. He's 26 and he's a fitness model. Oh no, Tom. Maybe you can hold your face in an Insta pose for the whole duration of the trip. That, I think, is your only way out. Darcy tells us she's really excited for Stacey to see how her relationship with Tom is. Why, Darcy? It's a real shit shower. A shower of shit. So they arrive in Albania and Tom is still moaning, saying, "I'm so tired. I've been up since 5 a.m. And I don't understand why, because looking at Albania on the map, it's just above Greece. And Greece is, I don't know, maybe a 4-hour flight from the UK. So why has he been up since 5 a.m? Mind you, he's probably just agreeing terms on some international trade deals. So Darcy tells Tom that they're going to meet Stacey and Florian in a restaurant. Tom tells her he's really tired and he doesn't want to go. Darcy tells him, "Let me change my shoes. I need to put on the highest heels I own." And Tom said, "But why? You're going to get changed on the side of the street." And she tells him, "I don't want to be shorter than my sister." And this is the first indication that Stacey and Darcy are uber competitive. Tom, if a girl wants to put her heels on, it's not that big a deal. And if you're moaning about this, let's all throw ourselves on our knees now and pray and hope that you don't see Darcy taking a South London shower in the toilet at Heathrow Airport. So they get to the restaurant, and after 10 or 15 minutes of lateness from Florian and Stacey, they begin a barrage of texts and calls, all to no avail, and an hour later, they finally turn up. And I've got to say, to me that's pretty much of a piss take. An hour is quite ridiculous, especially with no call or no text. And when they come in, they're bright and breezy. "Hey you guys!" Hello, I've been waiting 9 hours. Slight exaggeration, Tom, but yeah, we get the point. They should have just come in and apologised. And even then Stacey said, "Oh well, it doesn't matter about that. The main thing is that we're all here now." No, it's not the main thing. The main thing is that you apologised to me for wasting my time. I wasn't able to go back to my hotel and have a quick freshen up because I was waiting for you. Had I known that you were going to be an hour later, I would have done so. Where are your manners, Stacey? Where are your manners? I can't really blame it on Florian because he's just a child. Tom compliments Stacey on her outfit, and Darcy tells him, "I have the same outfit." Now he's seen it before he's even got a chance to see me in it. Thank you. And at this point I realised that every utterance between Stacey and Darcy was going to be a barb. And I thought, here we go. Albania is going to be every bit as bad as Tom said it would be. Stacey inquires, "How's the relationship going?" And Darcy says, "It's going amazing. Finally, I found my Prince Charming." And Tom piped up in a rare amusing moment, "When's he going to arrive?" And everybody laughed, except Darcy. And then Tom went for a cigarette break. And you could tell by the look on his face, he didn't like all this chat about engagements and marriage and Prince Charming. And you could see it made him feel really uncomfortable. Darcy told her sister, "Tom really wants to take it slow." And Stacey said, "But are sparks flying?" And Darcy lied and told her yes. And I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of feel at this point as if Stacey's trying to stitch her up. Stacey's trying to undertake a line of questioning which she knows will make Tom feel uncomfortable. She knows it's a brand new relationship and she's sitting there all comfortable in her 3.5-year relationship. My God, I bet he'd only just finished university by the time she snaffled him, but anyway, in her 3.5-year relationship, and I feel like she's trying to do a little bit of one-upmanship on Darcy. And we catch up with them again the following day, and they're going out for a sightseeing trip. Tom took exception to the van that they were travelling in, or in fact, possibly the fact that they had to travel in a van, and Darcy helpfully explained that it was an Albanian van. She's so funny. In the van, Darcy asked Tom, "Have you ever gotten in a fight over a girl?" And one word Tom said, "No." Tom tells the VT that Darcy is comparing relationships and Darcy is comparing the two guys together. And for Tom, between him and Florian, there's no competition. For once, Tom, we agree. So they get out of the van and they're at this beautiful spot where there's a river and there's a beautiful bridge over the river and it's amazing views of Albania. And even Tom has to reluctantly agree that the view is gorgeous. And when Stacey tells him that this is where Florian proposed, Tom says, I can see why you would propose here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. Wow, Darcy wastes no time in saying, Tom's talking about marriage and talking about proposals. If he asks me, I'm going to say yes. Darcy, he's not going to ask. Not today, not tomorrow, and not anytime soon. And to be fair, not ever. I don't think it's going well. And then the girls start again with their bickering and arguing. Stacey starts talking about her wedding, and then she asks Tom, quite nastily I think, Tom, what's your dream wedding? Tom tells her he hasn't spent much time thinking about his dream wedding. Now I think absolutely regardless as to whether a guy's ready to propose or not, guys don't tend to sit around thinking about their dream wedding. Stacey knows this very well, and so I feel like she's only asking to try and poke at Darcy and to try and get Tom to say, I'm not ready to get married, or something along those lines. And I think it was quite sneaky and quite nasty of her. Darcy looks about to cry. Darcy looks as if she's about to cry. Tom looks super uncomfortable and starts shifting from foot to foot. And then Darcy said, well, being engaged is a blessing. And Stacey said, but do you really want me to be happy? And they start bickering in front of the boys. Tom said he'd never thought he'd find himself in the tit for tat between the girls. Finally, Stacey tries to gain the upper hand by saying, let's not ruin it for the guys. Stacey, it's already ruined, and in no small part due to you. Darcy's very worried now. She said, Tom's seeing things that I just don't want him to see. I don't want him to notice mine and Stacey's demeanour together. And she tells us that they're each other's best friends, but also each other's worst enemies. Frenemies. She says they're not exactly jealous of each other, but I think they are, and they're super competitive. And it's such a shame because I was really hoping in that meeting up with Stacey, Darcy would gain some strength and Darcy would begin to shine. She looks just as upset as she's looked for the rest of the season. Darcy, I think I've got to say now, it's about time that you packed your bags and just went home and worked on yourself. You're placing all your happiness in somebody else's hands. And when that person's Tom, Nottingham's biggest liar, you're setting yourself up for a massive fall. And I don't think TV is going to be ready for this. Guys, what do you think? Do you think Stacey and Darcy are massively competitive? And who do you think was at fault here? I think Stacey poked Darcy a little more than Darcy poked Stacey. And how long do you think it's going to be before Angela and Michael get back together? I'm not asking you if they'll get back together because we know that they will. She's got to keep those TLC checks rolling. Let me know in the comments what you think. I do read all of your comments and I answer as many as I can. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm nearly at the 3,000 mark, so help to push me over that line. And don't forget to like the video. I'll be back later with part 3. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.